Hello, everyone. It's Dr. T. I'm a tech trainer and career coach, and I help professionals transition to tech by leveraging their existing skills and abilities. This video is about user stories and when are they done, and more specifically, the definition of done as it relates to user stories. Now, as a Scrum Master, it's your responsibility to facilitate those Scrum activities that keep the team on track and keep them working toward delivering the increment. So, as a part of sprint planning, the stories are pulled over when they are in a actionable state, meaning they're ready to be worked. But as we work through the stories, we also need to define when they are done. So the definition of done is really a quality assurance measure in that the team works the stories to determine a predefined criteria to indicate that the work is complete. So there are a set of contributing factors based on really your product life cycle within the organization and those specific tasks and even some documentation that's needed as a work item is developed, designed, and then worked and completed. So let's take a look at some on this list here. So design and architectural standards have been incorporated. And this is a key point to discuss in that Agile is not a process that eliminates documentation. The focus is just more on only working the necessary documentation. So if your organization decides that you need to have a design doc, then that doesn't go away just because you are working an agile project and you are functioning within a scrum team. Your design doc is still due, and the work items won't be considered complete until that design doc is completed and archived or passed on to whatever group requires that as a part of the work being considered done. Also, code and security reviews may be required, and if your team has not performed a code review and really a security review, then the organization won't consider your work done. Um, Unit and integration testing are other elements that should be defined within the user story if that's a requirement, and it should be a part of the definition of done. So it becomes a checklist of items. Has the supporting documentation been completed? And has the development team done an internal demo if that's your process? Now, as I worked with teams, especially in a Kanban team, we had our workflow defined and the items were just moved through the workflow. So here's an example of a Kanban team workflow. And it could vary. This is not set in stone. It's about how your organization and how your team functions. So if we had a list of stories that we have worked, meaning that we have determined gotten them ready for work, and we've determined what the scope is and identified that in the description. They've been prioritized and they had been sized, and there was a definition of ready and a definition of done included. Then they ended up in our ready for work pile, meaning these are the items that are ready for team members to start accessing, pulling, and working on. So ready for work items were moved to in progress when all of the elements of a user story were included in Jira. And then this in progress step is where those definition of done elements show up, like maybe it's in code review or maybe it's an architectural design review. It's in progress. And so it ended up any work item that was going through the list of items that we included for a definition of ready, it'd be in progress. Once it met those criteria, and we were able to take a look at it as a team, we moved the work item to internal demo, meaning, okay, we made it through that checklist. Now we as a team are going to get together and experience the functionality that's being delivered before we did a sprint review. Once we did that, and any issues or any deficiencies were cleared up and defects, well, bugs, then we were able to move it to done, saying, yep, these are the items in this done column that we can report on, saying, yep, so far we've completed 6 user stories, and it's reflective in Jira, and it's ready to pull any kind of report and showing we have this number of items done. And then we had a column for product owner approved, because it can't be approved by the product owner until it's done. That was our workflow. Some organizations include the product owner approval in the done phase. But at any rate, product owner says, yep, that's completed. I've either seen the functionality myself, or the team has assured me through their testing that the work item is good. Then we moved it to ready for sprint review, meaning the product owner has told us which stakeholders need to be involved in reviewing the increment, and those items that are ready would be in this sprint review column, ready for sprint review column, and we'd demo those items during the sprint review. So I hope this content and this scenario helps drive home the point that the definition of done is critical. It should be defined before a work item is pulled. And if there's anything else you'd like to discuss or get some feedback on regarding Scrum activities and your role as a Scrum Master, leave it below. Thanks. Bye.